Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to your calendar's franchise mode here in NHL 25. So last episode, if you did not catch it, we had the conference finals, and we finally found a way to get back to that cup finals again. Obviously last year we made it there, but we have made it for back-to-back seasons. I believe this is probably the first time in this entire franchise mode that that's happened, but you can see we played the Columbus Blue Jackets and we managed to beat them in 6 games. So it's been a pretty solid cup run up to this point in time. Actually, it was 5 games. My bad, I didn't count right. But yeah, it was a really good series for us. We did find ourselves with a 3-0 series lead. We lost the next game, but we bounced back with a 6-5 overtime win. So some really good heroics to get ourselves to this cup finals where we're going to be taking on the Calgary Flames. Now, we could have taken on the LA Kings, but Calgary did knock them out in 7 games. Calgary's kind of an underdog team just like us in terms of a regular season because we actually will have home ice advantage in this series. As you can see, they finished 45-33-4. We finished 45-29-8. Now, meanwhile, this postseason so far, both teams have been finding their game quite a bit, except for I'd say their power play hasn't been working well. You can see we are first in goals for in the playoffs. They are 6th in the goals for per game at least. And in goals against, we are first. They are 2nd, so they're a very good defensive team just like us. We are 7th on the power play. They are 13th. And then on the penalty kill, they're actually better than us. They're 4th, and we are 6th. But they have been getting definitely some better depth scoring in their lineup, despite us being the better offensive team. They actually have some really good high-end talent. I wouldn't say they have better depth scoring, actually. I'd say definitely it's their first line that does most of the work. But they do have a very solid defensive core, and I am a little bit scared about this Cup Finals just because there is a slew of former players on this roster, including Ellington, who used to play with us. There was also Kirill Ovechkin. Ovechkin was briefly here. Ellington was somebody that we actually drafted. We also have Gaudette on this team, which is somebody that was with us briefly last season. And then defensively, they also do have Erzberg and Granato, 2 OFDs that we traded to them because we didn't need them anymore. So this should be an interesting Cup Finals, and like I said, their defensive core is actually really, really strong, which has me a bit scared. Now, they do have a lot more offensively minded defenders, so I think we might be able to solve them because of that, but I mean, when you have 3 defensemen that are 88 plus overall, you're actually doing really well defensively. They also have an 84 in Erzberg, like who I said played with us. So their defensive core is set up quite nicely. So just a little bit scared about that because their offensive core has good depth, their defensive core has good depth, and they also have solid goaltending. So I think this is definitely the type of series that will go longer. It'll probably go to like 7 games. Obviously, it could go less than that, but it would take basically us playing really bad defensively or like say our offense falls off a cliff for us to lose earlier probably than 7 games in my opinion. Now, our team could win the series maybe easily too, considering both teams didn't have the best regular season. But obviously, that's going to come down to what this engine wants to throw at us and all that. So, with that said, let's get in your guys' comments, see what you guys have to say about last episode, and then we'll make sure we're set up and ready to go for Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals. So the first comment is from Michael Dose, who says, how does Columbus have an NHL team, but USA's 4th largest city in Houston doesn't have a team? And to be honest, I don't really care if Columbus has a team. I kind of like small market teams, but it definitely doesn't really make much sense that Houston doesn't have a team despite being one of the largest cities in the United States. So it would be interesting if Houston gets a team down the road. I know people are talking about Atlanta potentially coming back and stuff like that, but if Houston could be a team in the NHL at some point, would be neat, because obviously we used to have our Houston Sharpshooters draft the Glory Series, so it would be kind of cool to see a team actually go to that city. And the last and final comment is from Andy, who says, is it finally time for Mäkinen to bring the cup to the Isles? For sure, and let's hope so. Mäkinen's been really good this postseason, as has most people on this team. Like I said, our depth scoring has been definitely something that's been a really big plus this year. Like, I feel like our team's kind of similar to not necessarily the real-life Florida Panthers right now, because they just won the Stanley Cup the day before I'm recording this. But you can see we have really good depth scoring to the point where we don't have anybody over point per game. We have a lot of guys that are under point per game, but you have guys on 14 points, 13 points, 12, 10, a lot of guys on like 9, 8 points. So our depth scoring has definitely been a huge positive. Definitely some guys are still under-simulating a little bit, like Popov should probably have more points than an assist. Crane should probably have more goals than 3, but at least our depth scoring is showing up. And then from a defensive standpoint, we have 3 defensemen that are like over 10 points, including Jang, which I was not expecting when we started this playoff simulation for. So, yeah, just been a very good postseason from all standpoints. And then the one that's been the best player probably for us this postseason has been our goaltender, Nicholas. He's got a .922 save percentage through 17 games. So I'm kind of hoping, obviously, we could continue to play good defensively in this Cup Finals, but obviously, I'm not really sure on who would be a Conn Smythe favorite on this team. Obviously, I would say Nicholas probably has probably the number one chance to get it if we do win a cup this year. But if we don't get it to Nicholas and we do win the Stanley Cup, who from this forward group and who from the defensive group would maybe be a candidate to win the Conn Smythe this year? I honestly have no idea on that. So it should be interesting to find that out if we do find ourselves with our first Stanley Cup this season. So with that said, let's get into this Stanley Cup Finals. We'll keep the team, I think, the exact same, just because obviously it's been working well so far. Obviously, if we need to make adjustments, we will, but we'll definitely keep Crane, I think, on the second line. We were having him mostly on the first line, but he wasn't doing well enough. We moved Belchets to the first line, and he ended up giving us a very good game in Game 5 against the Blue Jackets, including the OT winning goals. So Belchets is going to stay on the top line to start off this Cup Finals. And yeah, let's hope that we just keep on getting what we've been getting. So let's get to game number 1 and see if this team can finally find a way to win its first Stanley Cup of the franchise mode. Obviously, we still have a few more years left to win it, potentially, if we lose this year. But obviously, the years are running down. Guys like Crane and Mackinnon and all that are getting older. So this is the year to do it if we can. But here we go. Game number 1 on home ice. Since this is the first series we've had home ice advantage of this entire playoff run, can we find a way to get that first Stanley Cup? Let's see what ends up happening. First period, game number 1. 2-0 Flames. I'm not liking that, but maybe the Flames will run out of offense after this game. That's not a good start for us. Burkle scores both goals for them. They're out shooting us 16-8. This almost kind of reminds me of last year where, like, basically our team was doing everything right until the finals. So I am a little bit scared about that start, but it's only 2 goals. I know we got outplayed in shots and all that, but we are still in this game as long as Nicholas could kind of find his footing a little bit. And Nicholas not playing as good in the last little bit has been also a little bit scary because he's had some bad games recently. So kind of hoping he could find himself in these next 2 periods. But we did get outshot 16-8, so he made 14 saves, which is big enough for us at this point. Can we find a way to get potentially back into this game in a second period? 4-3. I mean, we are within 1, but they were up 3-0 at one point, which is not great. Former player Gaudette made it 3-0. Belchets makes it 3-1. Burkholz gets his hat-trick goal, a short-handed one, to make it 4-1. But Kazanov and Mackinnon have pulled us back within 1. So, despite it being a bit of a rough period again, we have found ourselves within 1 this time, going into the third period. So this could be still one of those games where we could find a way to win as long as we get a couple more saves from Nicholas, because he hasn't been that great so far in this game, but the offense has been actually getting better as this playoffs has gone on so far. So shots 25-22 in favor of them. Let's see if we could potentially tie this game up after we were down 4-1. Third period underway. Come on, boys. There we go. Mackinnon ties the game up. Mackinnon is coming up big so far here in game 1. Of course, Andy called him out because he's Finnish, and Mackinnon scores a big goal. Belchets with another big third period goal. Belchets is fantastic on the top line. He's definitely shown me that he's better than Crane on that top line right now, as Mikulski ties this game up at 5. Penalty kill late in the game. I don't know who took that penalty, but that was scary. We go to overtime in game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals. We're out shooting them out 38-30, despite us being outshot in that first period 16-8. So we've had a lot more momentum on our side. It's not been the strongest game, like I said, goaltending and defensively, but we're 1 goal away from potentially taking game 1 of this Cup Finals. So I could jump in and watch this, but it's only game 1. So I think we'll probably wait a little bit before we actually jump into games. So who wants to be the hero for us in game 1? So far, I'm going to guess Belchets or Mackinnon because both of them have been fantastic and that top line in general has been good. So I'd say it's probably somebody on that top line, Belchets, Mackinnon, or Lehman. Let's see what happens in overtime. See if we can find a way to get this win here. Come on, boys. Yes, let's go. I was going to say let's get it done. And Cole Ashton, of all people, the second line center, a big goal. And that continues to show that our depth scoring has been improving drastically. We win 6-5 in game 1. I don't know if we fully deserved that game at points, but definitely that second period set us up for some success, and we played good pretty much the rest of the game after that first period, I would say. So we were down 3-0 after those two Burkles goals and that Gaudette goal, but Belchet started to come back from Mäkinen and Houghton. Then we had Kazanov, who's also had a fantastic postseason from Lehman and Belchet's, Mäkinen from Houghton and Belchet's. So Belchet's with 3 points in that second period. He's been maybe the MVP. Maybe he's going to be the Conn Smythe favorite by the end of the series. Mäkinen from Belchet's, and then we had Belchet's from Mäkinen and Lehman, Ashton from Kazanov and Holmstrom. So the overtime winner is the only one that Belchet's did not pick a point up on. So him and Mäkinen are very good together. Belchet's with a 5-point game to start off the Cup Finals. Mäkinen with 4 points. Then you had Kazanov, Houghton, and Lehman on 2 points. But I think it's going to either be Belchet's, Mäkinen, Belchet's or Mäkinen that could potentially be a Conn Smythe favorite for us at the end of this playoff run. That is if Nicholas doesn't find his game too. But wow, what a game that was. Not necessarily, like I said, the best defensive game, but it was a good offensive game, and our team has been finding its offense, so that's actually huge. Belchet's first star of the game, Mäkinen second star, and Burkles with the hat-trick got third star of the game. So talk about a crazy game that was. A lot of guys stepped up for both teams. I mean, Burkles did a lot of work for the Flames, but it was not enough. All right, so not a bad first game. I do not really like our goaltending and defensive game in that first one, but that's back-to-back 6-5 overtime victories. So our team is scoring goals. We're not necessarily defending well, but if we could get back to our good defensive ways, I think we could be very golden for that. So let's keep the team the same for now. Obviously, if we play bad defensively again, maybe we look into some adjustments, but let's get to Game 2 and see if we could take a 2-0 series lead headed to Calgary. We've been a very good home team so far. I guess actually not as good of a home team as a road team, but very good road team so far this postseason. So a 2-0 series lead headed to Calgary would be huge. First period, Game 2. 2-0 Flames again. God damn it, I was just about to say, let's not have the same outcome as last game. And Gogol and Healy score on Nicholas, so yeah, not good to be trailing by 2 goals after the first period again. Because we can't just keep coming back like every single game after being down 2-0. But our offense has shown that it could get back into these games. So if we have a good second period again, we could still win. But I do not like to be chasing the game if possible. So far I'm thinking about potentially making some adjustments for the next game. But it really depends on, I guess, how we finish off this game. But can we find a way to get back into this game in a second period like last game? Second period. Still 2-0. Damn it. Now the Flames are finding that good defensive and goaltending performance because obviously last game they weren't super good defensively and goaltending-wise. Shots are 21-17 in favor of the Flames. We're down by a pair of goals going into the third period. Can we find a way to start clawing back into this game? Third period underway. Come on, boys. Goal from Captain Crane. I'd like to see that because Crane hasn't been scoring too much, but he steps up this game because Belchet scored a lot last game. Can we find a way to tie this one up? There's enough time on the clock. Power play for us. We do not score on it. Final 5 minutes. Come on, boys. Give me another one. Give me another one. Please. Murata, the empty net goal. And the Flames are going to steal a game in our building, which is not great. But we have been a good road team so far, so maybe that'll help us a bit in a way. But that's unfortunate. It was a better game, definitely, in terms of defensive play and goaltending. But our offense definitely dropped off a little bit after that game. Crane from Holmstrom and Ragnarsson is our only goal. So yeah, definitely a better game from Nicholas, but that did not play out good offensively. So we need our offense to be consistent, and we need Nicholas to kind of get these performances a bit more consistent too. But Yablonski, Nicholas, and Healy are the 3 stars of the game. All right. Well, I think we need to make some sort of an adjustment just to kind of bounce things out a bit. We've lost 2 games in our last 4 a bit. We need to find ways to win in Calgary, which, even though we've been a good road team, could be hard. So let's go to edit lines and see what we could do potentially here. Obviously, I don't really want to split up that top line or the forward lines for the most part. But I could always move Hamilton down. I know he's been good, though, 9 points. Russell's been good, though, too. There's been a lot of good offensive players for that matter. Defensively, though, I don't like our defensive game in the first game of the series. Who's been bad in terms of plus minus? Probably nobody, right? I mean, kind of Houghton. He's an even 0, but I'm not moving him down. Not moving Nicholas out. This is the tough thing about having a good team is you don't really know what adjustments to actually make. So we're going to just do a small sub, I think. We're going to move Lehman down, Ragnarsson up. I don't really know what to do. So that's my only guess I could have. I mean, I could move Russell up, like I said, but Russell's a defensive forward first and foremost. So him being a fourth line center still, I think is probably the best idea. So I think we'll go with this, see if it works. Obviously, like, we don't really want to make too much adjustments, but we'll try this out at least for the next game. Maybe I should have waited to lose 2 games first before making adjustments, but I just don't want to end up losing too many games in a row if I'm not making adjustments. So let's get to game 3. We are in Calgary now, looking to find a way to take that series lead back. It was a good first game. Second game was solid defensively. Like, there's definitely positives to take away from both those games, but we need to find that consistency going forward. We definitely are more consistent offensively than we used to be, but I don't like going back to those games where we only could score like a goal in potentially. So let's get to game 3. Back in Calgary now. Can we find a way to win some games on the road? We've been such a good road team so far. It would be nice to continue that trend here in this Cup Finals. First period, Game 3. 2-0 Flames again. That's the 3rd straight game we've given up 2 goals in the first period. And we're getting manhandled and shot 16-4. I'm not liking our chances right now based on how we played these first 3 games in terms of goals against in the first period. Obviously, we could respond in the second period still, but still, it's not good to be chasing the game night in and night out. And it's 2 former players. It's Ovechkin and Gaudette scoring, of course, which is making it even tougher. Can we find a way to generate some chances in the second period? Because obviously only 4 shots for 20 minutes is very bad. So I really need to get more chances on net. And I need, obviously, Nicholas to play like Nicholas. He's been playing okay so far in this game, I mean, too, because I've been giving up a lot of shots early on. But we need to come to play in these games in the first period and not in like the second and third only. Can we find a way to get back into this game in the second period? Second period? Still 2-0. This is just like last game as well. Oh boy. I really hope this isn't a series where basically all that goal scoring came in game 1 and then we just get suffocated the next 4 games. Because that's the way it seems like right now. They're out shooting us 27-18. We're down by a pair of goals. We only have 1 goal in our last 5 periods since game 1. We need to find some offensive consistency, so I'll probably make some more adjustments after this game if we lose, but so far, not looking too good. Third period underway. Let's see if we could get back within 1 here, potentially early on like last game. And so far, it's not happening, which is not great. Penalty kill. And they get a goal right afterwards. It's Gogol. Of course, the guy with the name Gogol is going to score a goal. And Gaudette makes it 4-0. This is not looking good. I mean, we're still early into this Cup Finals. Ragnarsson gets a power play goal late, but we only have 2 goals in our last 2 games, which definitely has me concerned. So we are definitely going to make some adjustments. Of course, our former players scored goals against us, but our only goal is Ragnarsson from Holmstrom and Crane. Came in the final minute of the game. Oh boy, this is not good. Plus minuses. The second line's kind of getting destroyed a bit, so yeah, we're going to make some adjustments for sure here and try and figure out a way to kind of get us to win this next game, because this next game's pretty crucial. We don't want to have to come back from a 3-1 deficit, so. But I don't really like that our offense isn't scoring the goals like it was in game 1. Just like that, the Flames are now the first best defensive team in the playoffs, and we are the 3rd best defensive team, so we've kind of switched positions, so to speak. But Crane has dropped off to an 88 now. Damn, that's not good. Let's move Crane back to the top line. I know I said I wasn't going to move Belchet's off that top line, but we need to get something to go for us, and maybe Belchet's can make that second line better. I feel like almost moving somebody else in this top 6 down. Ashton's got 10 points. I don't think there's anybody could really put down the middle on this line, right? Ragnarsson's only at 70 on faceoffs. Kazanov, 75. I mean, maybe. You know what? Let's give it a chance. Kazanov has been really good so far. I'm not sure if he's really the guy I want to put down the middle, but let's put him down the middle. And Ashton's way better at faceoffs than Hamilton by only like 2 points. But let's try swapping those two. And just trying to find something that could get that play a little bit more consistent. Defensively, we'll also make some adjustments here. I'm going to actually move Holmstrom, I think, to the top pairing. And Houghton's going to go back down. They have the same point totals, but Houghton's been worse defensively. So let's try something bold. And goaltending will still be Nicholas. So let's see if that can get our team back into the series. Obviously, we're only down by a game. But we need to make adjustments right now. Because this next game has to be a win. Or else winning 3 straight games in the Cup Finals, it's doable. But it's also very tough. And each game would be even more scary in a way. So we just want to get the win here and at least make this a back and forth series so far. So the question is, can we find a way to win this game in Calgary? The most important game of the season so far. Let's see if we can get a win on the road. We've been a good road team so far up until last game pretty much. So if we could find a way to get a win here, that'd be nice. First period. Are you friggin' kidding me? We scored first literally less than a minute in, so I was hopeful. But then 2 more goals. So that's 4 straight games where we've given up 2 goals in the first period. And this one more would be on Nicholas because it's 2 goals on 11 shots. But we're out shooting them 19-11. We literally only have 3 goals in the last 7 periods of action. So I'm not feeling too confident in this team right now, even though we had a lot of confidence going into this episode that our team could go far. But this Flames team is definitely one of those teams that finished really low in the standings, just kind of similar to us, but actually are really good. So they are suffocating us with that defensive core that they have, which is not ideal. Gogol and Burkholz, those guys have been scoring goals too against us. Can we find a way to respond in the second period? Because this second period is absolutely imperative that we get a goal at least to tie this one up potentially, and play good defensively for that matter. Second period. 3-2 us. Let's go. Okay, that's huge. That is huge. And of course, it's the 2 old guys that have been here a long time, Mäkinen and Crane. Crane scoring a power play goal to give us the lead going into the third. That's a really big second period from this team. If we find a way to win the Stanley Cup this year, come back to this period as the difference maker. Shots are 33-18 in favor of us. We're dominating them in shots, but only up by a goal. We need to find a way to get some insurance and lock this game down now. Third period underway. Come on, boys. Penalty kill to start the third. I do not like whoever took that penalty. You don't need to take penalties in the third period. You got to be disciplined. Power play for us. We do not score on it. And they get a goal right afterwards with Letowski. God damn, man. Of course, right after we miss a power play opportunity, they tied it up. Final 5 minutes here in this third period. Still tied at 3. And we are going to overtime, which means since it's a very crucial game, we're out shooting 41-28. We got to jump into this game and find out who wins. So let's jump on in and see if we could tie the series up, headed back home. Because if we don't, it's going to be a huge uphill climb. But we need to jump in and find out what ends up happening. But come on, guys. You got to find a way to win this game. We missed that power play opportunity in that third period. And then they tied it up right away. So let's just make sure my music is off in this, which I think it is. Yes, it is. Perfect. Don't need any copyright strikes. Let's hop on in and see if we could tie this series up. This is an absolutely imperative one that we get the win here, because I think we can pull off a 3-1 comeback, but I need to see more out of this team to do it. So Mäkinen versus Henricius on the draw. Mäkinen wins it. Here comes Lehman. Lehman walks in, finds Holmstrom. Holmstrom bombs it. It goes off Lehman, but finds Mäkinen. And Gogol intercepts. Here is Ellington, the former Islander. Poke checked. Lehman finds Schaefer. Schaefer finds Crane on the open wing. Crane walks in, finds Mäkinen, and he gets destroyed in a hit by Healy. God damn. Yeah, the Flames are going to be stingy defensively. Here's Gogol again, and he wears number 69. Henricius a shot, and he scores. Are you freaking kidding me? I literally just jump into this game and literally less than, the first shot on goal on Nicholas in overtime. Wins it for the Flames. And we have to come back from a 3-1 deficit now. God damn it, man. This is going to be a literally back-to-back Cup Finals exits. But this is literally a play that you got to stop. You got to stop something like this. Henricius just throws a simple wrist shot. And this goes right in on Nicholas. Nicholas has been so good up to this point. It's really disappointing to see that. But Mäkinen got 2 points in that game. Gogol picked up 2 points for them. And then I'm assuming Henricius is the first star of the game. But we outshot them so badly. Yeah, Henry is just the first start. We outshot them 41-29. And we end up losing. It was a good second period, but we blew it in the third and then game over. So Regnerson from Belchets and Kazanov, Makinen from Schaefer, Crane from Makinen and Houghton. Like I said, I think this team can come back from a 3-1 deficit, but I do not like that we have to try and rally back from a 3-1 deficit. We had a great first game, and then our offense dried up in 2 games in a row, and then this game we lose in overtime. So we've had the short end of the stick quite a bit. But we need to make some sort of an adjustment. So let's go ahead and do that. I feel like I almost want to go best lines, to be honest, and try and get us back into this. I don't know who with scratch, though. Should I go best lines? Let's see what best lines does. I don't really want to split up certain people, but let me see what this does. Crane on the third line is absolutely atrocious to see. I don't know why he's on the third line, but if the AI thinks it's a good idea, we should. Hamilton gets scratched and Popov. Hamilton's been really good, though, offensively. Defensively, he has actually been a little bit of a liability. Popov has been not picking up enough offense. Guess it makes sense to scratch him. But I don't really want to run this lineup, to be honest, for game 5. But if the coach thinks this is the right idea, we might as well try it. Houghton gets sheltered more playing top 6 minutes instead. Guess we're going to have to go with this. And how's Nicholas' save percentage now? At 915. It was literally like a 930 in the part of the conference finals, I think. And then it's been not that good the last bit. He's had some okay games. We could call up some guys from the AHL, but I don't want to risk anything. I don't think there'd be anybody I'd take out of the lineup for those guys. So, I mean, I could send down a Hornqvist in Winchester randomly. We'll just do what the AI is saying. We'll run this lineup. So, Regnerson, Makinen, and Lehman, Belchets, Ashton, and Kazanov, Crane, Russell, Dempsey, Hilbert, Winchester, Hornqvist. Might as well try it. See if it can get us back into the series. If it does get us back to a Game 7, we might go back to our old lines again. But we got to throw it against the wall here. We're heading back to home ice at least. So this maybe gives us a chance to get back into the series. But it started off well. And then, like I said, our offense dried up completely. So this is a must-win game. Real-time simulation back on home ice. Can we force a Game 6 back in Calgary? Hopefully we can find a way to play better in this first period because we haven't found a way to be good in the first period whatsoever. That's been our main concern. Ragnarsson opens the scoring. He's been good as of late, so that's good to see. He's been scoring goals every game. Comrie makes it a 1-1 game. And then we respond, though. Holmstrom makes it 2-1. Good to see the offense is on our side here early on. But I do not like that we give up first period goals every game so far. We need to play much stronger defensively. Shots are 15-10 in favor of us. It's a 2-1 game for us as well. Let's see what happens in a second. This is an important period. Penalty kill, and it's a 5-on-3. We killed it off. Power play for us, and Makinen scores right afterwards. That's a big goal at this point. All right. Power play again for us. And they get a goal afterwards, and it's our former OFD, Erzberg, making it a 3-2 game. Gogol makes it a 3-3 game. Are you serious, man? Well, this is disappointing. Our defensive style and our offensive style we had early in this playoff run is kind of run dry. I mean, 3 goals in this game is fine, but I just don't like that we give up goals right after we score goals too, or back-to-back quick goals. There's been multiple periods this playoff run or this Cup Finals where we've given up 2 goals in a period. So it's a tie game going in a third. We are out shooting them again, but it's a tie game. Can we find a way to win this third period and extend the season? Or are we going to potentially lose in Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Finals? Come on, boys. Please respond. Please. I don't care who it is on our roster. Somebody score. Penalty kill here in this third period. And we killed it off. And we score. It's Ashton. Okay, the guy that scored the OT winner in Game 1. That's a big goal from him. But they answer right back. And it's Matvei Michkov, the 38-year-old, I think. But Ragnarsson answers back for us again. Okay, Ragnarsson. I see you, man. And that is going to be enough. So we barely escape with a 5-4 victory. So a good offensive performance. Definitely better, but still concerning in terms of goaltending. But we have forced a Game 6 back in Calgary. And that's a nice win to get, at least. So Ragnarsson from Howden and Ashton. We had Holmstrom from Kazanov, Makinen from Ragnarsson and Belchetz, Ashton from Belchetz and Carlson, Ragnarsson from Jang, and Hornqvist. So Hornqvist picks up his first point in his first game, which is nice to see. And there's your 3 stars. Ragnarsson with 3 points, Ashton second star, Belchetz the third star. All right. Well, I think we'll probably keep the team the exact same, I guess, for this game. I don't like still Crane being a third-line guy, but we got to do what we got to do. Apparently, Schaefer was temporarily injured in that last game, which is weird. But let's keep the team the same. See if we can force a Game 7. If we do force a Game 7, like I said, we'll go back to our lines again that we had before. But this is another must-win game, and this is going to be the hardest one of this comeback if we want to come back. Winning on the road is not easy, especially in a game where you could be potentially losing a Stanley Cup. So, can we find a way to force a Game 7 back on home ice? Let's give a good effort like last game, and let's not give up as much goals as we've been doing as of late. Let's see what happens. Game 6, real-time sim. Can we force Game 7? And they opened the scoring on the first shot of the game and the second shot of the game, which is absolutely trash. God damn it, Nicholas. This is not the way I was hoping this Cup Finals would go at all. God damn, man. And they score again. 3 goals on 8 shots. Nicholas has had absolutely atrocious first periods in this Cup Finals. I've been giving him a chance every single game just because I don't know if Komatov would do much better, but holy hell, man. Well, looks like we're going to end up losing the Cup Finals in Game 6. We're going to be like the Edmonton Oilers, basically, at this point. Unless our team has a really good second period. We are out shooting them 15-9, but they've scored on 1 of every 3 shots they've shot so far on net. So, this is disappointing, man. Can we get an answer in this second period at all? If we could get 2 goals, we could still win. Gogol makes it 4-0. Komatov is now in net. God damn it, boys. The goaltending flopped at the worst time possible. And then our offense is not showing it up in this game whatsoever. Johansson makes it 5-0. This is after we just won 5-4. Our inconsistencies hit us in the face in this Cup Finals. God damn. I don't even think I'm going to jump in to watch the handshake or any of that stuff. Because this is just disappointing. And there's a good chance that some of these guys like Crane and all that might be very close to retirement in these next 2 seasons or so. And we still don't have a cup. So, god damn it, man. I literally thought we were going to win a Stanley Cup this year. But we ran into another good team. This team has been absolutely cursed, though. Absolutely cursed. In the worst way possible. Like, we could have been a dynasty if we would have won cups in all these years, as we lose 5-0 in Game 6, and the Calgary Flames win the Stanley Cup in 2044, I think it is. God damn it, man. We did have a bit of penalty trouble that game. But, man, what a fun run that ends in a bad way. God damn it. And, yeah, the goaltending. I mean, Komatov came in and did an okay job, but Nicholas really crumbled under the Cup Finals pressure. We'll definitely look at his stats for that playoff run, but oh, god damn it, man. And their goaltender found his game completely. That is uber disappointment. And like I said, this team's been under-simulating so much, though. Like, let's go take a look at our stats. We've been under-simulating so much the last 2 years, or not under-simulating, we've been underachieving. Because this team, like I said, could have been a dynasty if we would have won cups during this run. But we go to somebody like, let's just go forwards for a second here. We go to somebody that's been here a while. Let's go to Crane, since he's been here probably the longest. But you can see, like, these playoff runs we've had the last while. We've had so many good runs since 2038, and they've all come up short. 2038 Conference Finals exit. 2039, I think this was Cup Finals loss. Or was it a Cup Finals loss? Maybe that was Conference Finals exit too. No, oh yeah, here it was. Okay, so 2036, we make the Stanley Cup Finals. Then the year afterwards, it was a big disappointment. We lose in the first round. Then we lose in the Conference Finals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 straight years. 5 years in a row losing in the Conference Finals. We make some changes. We get to the Cup Finals for the first time and lose. We get to the Cup Finals this year and lose again. So We've literally could have had a chance to pull off maybe 7 Stanley Cups in a row if we would have gotten past these conference finals and also won in these cup finals. We also had cup finals early on in the series, but we didn't win those either. God damn. Absolutely terrible. Belchet's 21 points was our best player, and of course we traded for him. I don't know if he's going to come back. He might retire. Makinen had 20 points. Ragnarsson had 18. Like, we had good depth scoring, like I said, but Crane's fall off this playoff run has definitely been a big concern. Aside from that, though, there's not really too much negatives other than maybe Nicholas's play in that cup finals. Howden had 16 points, but was -6. Damn, bad defensive play from him. And in goalies, as I said, Nicholas really dropped the ball. He was literally on a .930 save percentage at one point in the conference finals, but if we look at his stats the last little bit, if we go to like the round against Columbus, for instance, he was still playing really good at this point. A .929, a .919, a .939. After this game, though, all of a sudden his mindset completely changed. .862, .879, .833. He did post a .938 in Game 2, which was good enough, but .897, .862, .871, and a .625. So aside from Game 2, he was absolutely trash. He was lucky we won Game 1 because of the offense, but he was averaging like probably over 4 goals a game in that cup finals. So, yeah, I am pretty disappointed with the kid. He did get us as far as possible, so I do thank him for the first 3 rounds, but that cup finals just, ugh. He is also a pending RFA again. And we still have Komitov as well, who's also a pending RFA. So I don't really know if we have to make a decision on one of these 2 goalies this coming season, but we probably should think about it. I'm not too sure yet. But, yeah, like I said, good offense. The goaltending is pretty much the big letdown of the cup finals, though, for the most part, in my opinion, at least. So, there is that. Let's advance today so we can actually see the other awards and all that. As Carolina's fired their head coach, Preston Howden. I think that guy used to be a coach with us, but San Jose wins the AHL just in case you were interested in that. Let's take a look at those other awards, though. Man, this is disappointing. So many fun runs, and there's a chance that guys like Crane might never get a Stanley Cup. And this has probably still been one of the most disappointing series I've run on YouTube in terms of not winning. But I guess I had to, the EA basically had to get back at me for all the cups I won in Winnipeg. So Calgary wins the Stanley Cup. President's Trophy went to Pittsburgh. It was Calgary and us in the Cup Finals. Back-to-back finals losses for us. Davidson wins the Art Ross for the second time in 3 years. He also wins the Hart for the second time in 3 years. Craig wins the Norris for Winnipeg, beating out Houghton and stuff like that. Bedard wins the Lady Byng for Edmonton. That's kind of strange. Ash the Calder for Colorado. Mikulski won the Conn Smythe, that OFD. God damn it, man. Dawes won the Vezina for Anaheim. Nicholas won the Jennings, him and Komitov, but didn't live up to expectation in that Cup Finals. Sopel wins the Masterton for Utah. Buffalo's coach Jack Adams. Arkhipov another Selke. Davidson the Lindsay. Petnin the Richard, the breakup Garen streak. AHL-wise, any awards for our AHL team? Does not look like it. All right. Well, now let's find out the retirements and all that stuff, wrap up the season, but we are very close to the end of the series, which I'm actually kind of excited for the next series after this, because Draft to Glory European style should be interesting. So, anyways, first overall pick this year, Carolina, Dallas, San Jose, Tampa, and Boston. All right. All right, any crazy retirements this year? Did we lose anybody? Did any former players retire? Matvei Michkov just retired as a Stanley Cup champion. Did he retire? That was his only cup win. All right. Well, this guy literally scored a goal against us in one of the biggest games of his career, and he's a Stanley Cup champion at the end. So shout out to him. But we need that cup, man. Aside from that, former player, former sniper on our top line, Tyrone Cook has hanged them up with 970 points. He stayed in Seattle ever since we dealt him there. And Ethan Belchetz did retire. God damn, man. That's disappointing. We brought him in. He was really good for us this postseason. Could have been a Conn Smythe favorite if we would have won the cup. 17 points in 21 games after we brought him in, 21 points in the playoffs, and we could not get him that Stanley Cup that he didn't get in his entire career. Woodworth also retires in Columbus. That's a pretty crazy one. That guy was a really good goal scorer, underrated player. Aside from that, any interesting names that used to play with us or that I want to bring up, as in terms of offense at least, that is. Does not look like it, to be honest. Okay, well, that's good. What about defensively? Any crazy defensemen retired this year? Pavel Mintyukov, Zane Parekh, Xavier Persinger. Why don't I remember you? Maybe St. Louis? I don't remember. Dennis Ludman retired. Shout out to him. He was briefly with us too. And look at who also retired. AHL legend, Zachary Pratt. They get to play in the NHL recently, though. And, yeah, not the best defenseman in the NHL, but a solid AHL defender for sure. Aside from that, no other former guys, I think. Yeah, looks like it, maybe. Goalies, Marco Allen, Jacko Ivankovic, or Ivankovic, I don't know how it's pronounced. And that's it. All right, well, we salute to the only retirement, which is Ethan Belchetz. Brief time here. Didn't get that Stanley Cup, but he gave us a chance, and I salute him. Thank you for your time here, man. But now we need to find a no replacement for him, potentially. I mean, technically, Trotter could come into the NHL, I guess, next season again, but... So, Ricky Yablonski, our AHL coach, or one of our AHL coaches, retires. And in NHL-wise, we do lose Jesse McCollum, which I don't remember which coach that is, but it's not our head coach, I don't think. So that's at least good. We do lose an OHL scout, so you guys could let me know if you want me to replace him or not. I almost don't care too much about the draft and all that coming up, but let's go continue simulating, and let's take a look at some stuff to wrap up the season. Contracts, draft class, and progress reports. But I am pretty disappointed, and you can probably tell in my tone of voice. So in terms of our forwards, I mean, guys like Makinen are dropping off, which is not ideal. He is still signed here for long term. He's already 31, and he's kind of dropping off, so that's a little bit concerning. Ashton is still kind of statistically okay. Winchester probably won't come back. He's a third-line scoring forward now, and he was a depth forward for us this season. Bad defensive player for the most part. Hamilton's been okay. Still 79 overall now for Hamilton. Russell was good, but he's kind of dwindling a little bit, which is surprising. Ragnarson's still getting actually a little bit of statistical drop-off. No, natural drop-off? What? Did I see that right? Why is he dropping off at 24 naturally in terms of defensive awareness? Did he not play good enough defensively? I don't even know. That's strange. Anyways, aside from that, Karane's dropping off, as you'd expect. Because he's old at this point. Still our captain. He's not as good physically as he used to be. Kazanov is also having some drop-off in terms of defensive awareness. So I wonder why those guys are dropping off defensively. Is it because of the boost I applied at the start of the season or something? Popov, Trotter's up to a 79. Yeah, Trotter's definitely playing in the NHL fully next season, which maybe gives us a bit of a boost. But, goddamn, man. Lehman's only an 83? What the hell is this? I literally just signed this guy long-term, and he had a good season, too. And you're telling me he's only an 83 after 65 points. I don't know what that is. That's definitely maybe morale-related. Defensively, Howden's dropped down to an 86. His role is top 4. He's still exact the lead, but yeah, we're definitely getting drop-off from a lot of our older guys. And then goalies is pretty similar. I don't know what we're going to do with that goalie situation, to be honest. I think Nicholas is still the guy, but playoffs is just, that finals hurts. In terms of goalie prospects, I mean, Irwin's getting growth. Same with Bergenheim and Olver, so that's good. Defensive prospects, I mean, Jang's not a prospect, but he's still good. Strombolopoulos could potentially be in the NHL next year. A couple other guys are getting closer, but some of them are still long shots. So, right wing side of things, Howe's up to a 76, still not ready to go yet, but he may be next season. A couple other low leads are getting some good growth, like DeKaiser, who is unsigned at the moment. He's up to a 72 at 19, so there's a chance DeKaiser will be definitely on that AHL top line next year. Grollo, some more growth like that. Terry's pretty much NHL ready. We could give him a chance if we want to. At this time, I don't really know what to do, and you guys probably don't either. Oh, man. You don't know how hard it is for me to keep the series going. Like, I want to run it till the end, though. Just because I want to see guys like Rain retire. But I almost just want to get to that next series as fast as possible. All right, final things, contracts and draft class. So the contract situation this upcoming offseason is going to be a bit of a doozy. We have a bunch of RFAs, Holmstrom, Kazanov, Lindsay, Dempsey, and Popov all need contracts. I'm honestly thinking about potentially trading away the rights to like Lindsay and Popov and maybe even Dempsey. Kazanov and Holmstrom I'd like to hold on to. And then we have a bunch of pending UFAs that I could hold on to some for the bottom six, but they could easily be replaced too. Goalies, this is the big one. We probably have to trade away the rights to one of these goalies or just qualify them and then trade them. I'm not too sure. But we have a choice between Nicholas and Komatov, and both of them are going to be decently expensive. Nicholas had a fantastic season. No slouch about it, but that Cup Finals absolutely hurt. Absolutely hurt. Like, he had good numbers in the playoffs, but his Cup Finals was definitely the worst I've ever seen. And then Komatov, we don't really know what to expect from Komatov. He hasn't played too much, but he's been a good goaltender in the regular season. Playoff-wise, has been a bit hit or miss so far. So there is that. All right, final thing we got to take a look at is this draft class. Which picks do we have in this year's draft even? Because I don't remember. We have our own first. We have our own second. We have an early third-round pick. That's second in that third round, so that's kind of nice. And then we have our normal picks afterwards. Actually, we have Nashville's pick as well in the fifth round. So we still have a pick in every round, but some of them are a bit earlier than they normally would have been. All right. So let's take a look at this draft class briefly. I know I don't care too much about it at this point, but wow, franchise power forward going first overall. Lance Smits, I forgot about that. All right. So we're drafting 31st. The question is there an NHL-ready player at 31st? There is a defenseman that's supposed to go a little bit earlier we could try and move up for, who actually looks really good too, 1 year out, Carson Smith. So if I was to move up to get him, I'd probably give up our first-round pick, obviously, in that early third, and that should probably get it done. So maybe we draft this guy just to get ourselves a new young defenseman in. Aside from that, there is Para, probably just a medium 4. Layden might be elite, but tough to say. We don't really need forwards too much. But I think that defenseman's kind of interesting. Pagaduin, probably just a generic 65 overall top 6. There's another one in Nagy as well. These guys don't have enough time to develop early. Tutu could be elite too. Moises Tutu, but 4 years out. Any good potential players in later rounds to pin? There's that goalie, Hudson Jenner. We don't really care about those guys, though, because they're not going to get enough growth before the series ends. Let's see. This guy could be an elite goalie, too, but we don't care about these goalies, really. There is another low elite that we did not have pinned yet. Robinson Lizak. He is 19 years old, but we'd probably still take him. He's 4 years out. There's also Mark Carl. Might be a little elite, tough to say. Brulard, who we pinned, is still listed as a gem. So I don't expect it to be a super crazy good draft for us, but hopefully we can find ourselves some good prospects, even if they're not going to make it before the series ends, kind of. But I don't know what else to say. Disappointment. Disappointment once again. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode over New York Islanders franchise mode. So in next episode, we'll take it to the 2044 offseason. We'll have the draft and the re-sign stage, and I'm going to try and maintain this roster still, but I think we need to, if we have cap space, put our name in the hat for something huge, because we don't really have much of an opportunity, it seems like, unless we have maybe a superstar player coming to this team, and we have to make some sort of a huge adjustment. Like, I know we've made huge adjustments the last few years, but there's something that this team still can't find a way to win, and I'm not too sure what it is. So listen down below, and I'll see you guys next time.